Hi there. So, full moon tomorrow in Aquarius and 5 retrograde planets. So, lots going on and lots to talk about. It's the full moon tomorrow in Aquarius. It's full at 11:42 a.m. London time. Um, and it's going to be opposing the Sun, Mercury, Jupiter, and Venus in Leo. So there's a bit of tension going on there. Plus, it is a blue moon. It is the second full moon in July, and when two full moons happen in the same month, the second one is called a blue moon. It doesn't happen very often. The next one coming is in 2018. And it's actually 12 times as powerful as a normal full moon. So it's definitely worth using these energies for burning off whatever you want to leave behind, making the ritual for the full moon. Now this opposition between Leo and Aquarius, it's all the signs have these tensions and stuff going on with the signs that opposes them, but especially with the Leo and the Aquarius, there's always this. Aquarius has a tendency to sort of envy Leo its fluent ability to take center stage without even giving it a second thought. It's sort of always the center of attention, and it's funny and it's social, and it just has this ease about being with other people, where Leo has a tendency to secretly um, envy the coolness of the Aquarius, the cool, collected humor and intelligence, and it's they both function very well socially, and they're both very good at getting friends. It's just in two very different ways, and friends is sort of a big issue for this all these things going on here, because there's so much going on, and it's going to cause a lot of temper tantrums around people, and if we're not careful and remember to take some deep breaths and think before we speak, we're going to end up losing some friends or pushing people away, and I'm going to get into that later. But anyway, the full moon tomorrow is about the collective. It's about innovation, thinking in new streams of thought, finding new ways of doing things, and going for the interesting, innovative stuff instead of being stuck in the old set ways. This full moon wants us to move forward. And it's about letting go of that fear that is holding us back and sort of drop the old habits and bad trains of thought and go into the new and unexplored fields, the desires we have, and go for them. So, with the new moons, we plant seeds. We plant seeds with our wishes for what we want to attract in life, and with the full moon and the ritual of burning the things we want to leave behind, we sort of get an opportunity to rise from the ashes of the old in order to step into a new power and gifts that are being released by letting the old stuff go. It sort of makes space for new stuff to come in, which is why we burn the wishes we write down at the full moon. So yeah, 5 retrograde planets. That's quite a lot. We have Venus, Pluto, Saturn, and Uranus, Pluto, and Neptune. So it's just, I mean, everything is just calling to slow down, to reflect, to take deep breaths and think before we act and think before we talk. And it's a time for self-reflection and getting insights about what stirs inside of us and looking at our shadow sides. And there's an enormous potential for deep healing and insight and understanding in this period. So Saturn is retrograde right now in Scorpio, but he actually goes direct on Sunday, the 2nd of August, in Scorpio. So he's been retrograde for about 6 months now, and he has been asking us in Scorpio to look at our shadow sides, our shadow selves, all the hidden things that we don't really want to look at, all the subconscious stuff. And he's squaring Venus and Jupiter in Leo. So if we haven't done the work yet, we're going to be phasing a lot of aspects of ourselves over the next coming weeks, because this is the time to do it. And it's going to take a while before Saturn re-enters Scorpio and gives us an opportunity to work on these specific issues again. So he really wants us to look at this stuff. So if we haven't already, it's really going to be right up there now. And that can be a bit dramatic with that square to Leo. So again, this is about when these things surface, to sort of acknowledge what is ours and what is belonging to other people, and sort of take responsibility for the dramas that are coming out of ourselves, the dramas we are attracting by our actions, and facing the reasons behind it, so that we can clear that from our lives. If we go into the drama and the anger and the temper tantrums, this again can cost us. It can cost us our reputation, it can cost us people's trust, it can cost us our friends, it can push people away. So this is really about stepping up and taking ownership of the feelings we don't really want to acknowledge, and look at them and bring them into the light and find the gifts that are in them. Otherwise they might just step up and cause an explosion. So this is also about setting boundaries, saying no, respecting yourself enough to set those boundaries. When you feel other people are pushing you too far, then stop them, say no, and say it before they push you far enough for you to explode. And also to respect that other people are going to do the same. Instead of being hurt or angry when other people set a boundary, if you're not used to those people setting that boundary, then try respecting them for being true to themselves instead. And if you see other people exploding around you in temper tantrums, then just be aware that it might not be that much about you as it is about them having to set the boundaries that they're really insecure about setting, and it causes a lot of fear inside of them, and therefore when they finally do say no, or set a boundary, or react or put into words whatever is going on, it comes out in that explosion because it's been waiting for a long time to come out. So yeah. Uranus is also retrograde. He went retrograde on the 26th of July. And he's going to stay retrograde in Aries until the 25th of December. So we're going to have fun with him for a while. And that's about changing the course of our lives. And with Uranus, things can happen suddenly. It can be sudden events happening that force you to change direction in your life. It's about new ways of doing things. It's the rebel, so the more not normal it is, the better it will work for him. It can also give us this impatient need to break out of whatever limits us, to just throw off those shackles that hold us back and just raw into freedom, because we're going nuts from being held back from what we want to do. And this is really just all the way through all these retrogrades. It's just about listening to your instincts, your gut feeling, what feels right, what your intuition tells you, and try to not block yourself and your actions with logic and what you think other people might think of what you're doing. So just act on hunches, act on sudden insights, and do it the minute they come, because there is so many opportunities opening up for people right now, and for us to change our lives to the better and to clear out old stuff and get rid of it. But we have to listen to get to those things. We have to listen to our intuition, to our inner selves, and dare to act on whatever comes up, even though a part of us is thinking, oh, I can't do that, what would people think? And no, I'm not sure I'm going to do that, that's not safe, or that's not secure. And so try overstepping those fear boundaries. So yeah, and remember, I mean, you might think that other people are going to judge you for doing whatever it is you're thinking about doing but not daring to do. But it might as well just be you projecting your fear onto other people. You might be very positively surprised that they're actually just encouraging you and applauding you for doing that, for taking that step and being brave and crossing that border. Because often that's just a way of tricking ourselves into staying in our safety zone. It's if we're really scared of doing something and our ego freaks out because that's not safe, over there is not safe, I don't know what's going on there, so we're staying put right here because that's safe, I know what's going on here, it might not be comfy, but I know what it is. And then we sort of run out of excuses of why we shouldn't go over there, and then we start projecting our fear to other people and saying, well, if I do that, they're going to think I'm nuts, they're going to push me away, they're going to, and often it has nothing to do with other people, it's just us projecting our fear out to the others. So don't care about what other people think, do what's right for you. And you might be surprised. If you get hit by these explosive hits of anger or rage or even stress, because Uranus is in Aries, it's a fire sign, and it can be very explosive, especially if it feels restrained. Then be physical. I mean, Aries needs that blood rolling through the veins, it needs the pulse to go up, so be physical, jump around, dance, run, box a pillow, go out and scream in the woods or something like that. Get it out and be physical about it, sort of get your body into those emotions and let that help you express what's going on inside of you, because our body is an amazing tool to get all of these things out, so that you don't lose your head when you're going to communicate whatever frustration it is that lies beneath the anger. And if it's stress because you're feeling trapped, because you feel like you're powerless and you can't get out of whatever situation it is that is stressing you out, then again, be physical about it. Try finding something that gives you joy and see what it is that actually is holding you back, because with Uranus in Aries, it can hit your nervous system, and it can definitely bring stress as well if you allow yourself to be trapped. So try and see if there's a way out of those situations that are holding you back. And if it needs courage, then find it. It can also bring a lot of clearing in your circle of friends, and that can be tough, because those friend breakups can sometimes be really hurtful and hard, but mostly they happen because we're ready to move on, we're ready to, that space is ready to become vacant so that it can open up to attract another energy that's better and more suited for where we are at right now. So that's definitely something that's possible is going to happen, that we're going to sort of shift the participants in our circles of friends. So just if it happens, just try not to take it too personal and try and see the higher meaning of it, that maybe it's just time to move on and take in something new. Or maybe that friendship is just going through a healing phase and you're going to take it to a higher level later. You never know. But it's definitely going to happen there. Then we have Neptune. It's retrograde in Pisces. It went retrograde on June 12th, and it's going to stay retrograde in Pisces until November 18th. And this is about busting the bubbles of illusion. This is about seeing through the veils of the illusions we have put up about ourselves and about other people. When Neptune goes retrograde, it's easier to see through the illusions. Our senses get heightened, they get sharpened somehow. And this causes a lot of illusions to burst because we suddenly see things we didn't see before. It is opposing Virgo when it's in Pisces, which means that again we need to listen to our intuition, to our hunches, to what we feel is right, and not to the logic and the more practical way of seeing things. And especially at the end of this period, when we're nearing up to the middle and end of November, we can definitely risk a lot of illusions bursting for us here. It can, Neptune and Pisces going retrograde can be a bit overwhelming for sensitive people, as it heightens the senses and it heightens the energies around you, and it makes you even more sensitive. So if you feel that you're being hit especially hard in this period, then carry some black tourmaline on you, because that's amazing to protect your energy field and to sort of keep you clear in your energy. And put into words whatever is coming in so that you don't get overwhelmed. Journal, write a journal during this period to get all your thoughts out, get all your feelings out and down into paper, because a lot happens in that process. And do it pen on paper, in hand, because that is a part of that healing process. And it's very important in this period to look at those illusions that we carry, both about ourselves, but also the illusions we project onto other people. I mean, we all do it all the time. We have these ideas about who other people are. Plus, we also all go around with these unconscious needs, and we're trying to meet those needs in everyone we meet. So if you have these mother issues, then you're going to sort of, whenever you meet a potential mother figure, then you're going to seek that perfect mother in that woman, and then when she turns out not living up to that perfect mother issue, you get disappointed and you get really hurt. But it really has nothing to do with her, because all it is your projections onto that person. And this is, of course, both ways, so you might experience other people doing it to you as well. So be conscious of the projections you put onto other people and the illusions you have about yourself. So reflect on those illusions. It's also important to put down boundaries here, to say no again, to say, and to respect your own need for privacy if that comes up, because with this Neptune and Pisces, especially retrograde, you can be easily drained by other people, and it's very important to notice if that happens and respect that in yourself, and say, okay, I can't be with this person right now because I'm losing all my energy to it, and it's just not worth it. You need to take care of yourself, and you need to put down boundaries and say no and sort of protect yourself there. Yeah. Yeah, and grounding, of course, is very, very important in these periods. I mean, sort of stay grounded and keep a sense of humor in it all, be able to laugh at yourself and all the stuff that's going on, sort of try not to take everything too seriously, and so that everything isn't just spiritual self-development, or sort of you're also a human being and you're also having this human experience, and we're allowed to have fun with it. So yeah. Pluto is also retrograde. He's in Capricorn, and he's going direct on September 24th. And that's all about letting go of old stagnated attitudes and ways of thinking. And it gives us, as it is Pluto, it gives us the gift of really being able to dig deep into past issues, old stuff, and clear it out. All the subconscious stuff that is down there, from both from our childhoods and from our past, but also from past lives even. Clear it out and get it out so you don't have to carry that weight around anymore. It's all about your shadow sides, your shadow aspects, looking at those. And it's also about power issues, both if you're giving away your power to other people, if you're feeling powerless, and how you react to that. When you feel powerless, do you go into victim consciousness and sort of throw in the towel and say, well, I can't do anything about it anyway, or do you get into anger and aggression instead and get really pissed off and say, this is my power you're taking from me, my life force, and whatever. Try and find the middle ground for all of this, to find the way to set the healthy boundaries and say no before it becomes too much, and say, okay, this is fair enough, I've had it with this. This is my space and that's yours, and I'm not accepting that you're taking my energy and my power away from me anymore. I'm retrieving my power over myself. It's one of the things that are really good to do in this period, and we're supported in doing it. So definitely, if you're in a situation where you feel powerless, it's time to set those boundaries and take your power back. It's also a perfect time for cleansing, for going on those health diets where you're clearing out your system, or meditations or silent retreats, or anything that gives you self-empowerment, everything that helps you to enhance your body's self-healing powers, and giving you taking your power back, really. So yeah, I think that was it, but that was enough. So Venus is also retrograde, of course, but I talked a lot about her in the new moon video I made a couple of weeks ago, so you can watch that if you want to see about that. Yeah, I think that's it. So enjoy and have fun with it all. Bye.